You go.
All right. Call the regular council meeting for the corporation of the town of Cobalt to order at 6:30 p.m. on May 26, 2026. Disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. Is there any? No. 3 public meetings, there are none. 4 deputations delegation. 4.1 Northern Hospice Care. If you want to come up to the table.
Thank you so much. I'm scared just about knocking me up. Yep. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, if you could introduce yourself to council.
I will. My name is Chris Gallagher, and I'm the Secretary of Northern Hospice Care. And I'm so pleased to be here tonight to talk to you in person. That's okay, Chantal. This is my sidekick, Chantal.
Sorry, Chantal. Okay.
So the reason we have come tonight is to ask for your help. And I'll get to that in just a moment. I'll give you a bit of background first. In the past, we have sent letters to this council and to others in the area just to inform you who we are, what we're doing, what our goals are. We decided to come tonight because we're asking a special favor, and therefore we're here in person. I wanted to start by saying that what is new since the last time we corresponded is last July we incorporated as a not-for-profit organization group, and we are now in the process of applying for charitable organization status. And I don't know if any of you have been through that, but as you're going through it, yes, it's very, very specific, very detailed, and it really makes you scrutinize your project. And if there's anything that we've found from it, it's very humbling. Originally, we had hoped we might be in a position to build a brand new hospice, brand new facility. That's not likely to happen. So our next option is to be looking at a property that has a 3 or 4 bedroom house on it that could be used as a residential hospice. And research has shown that in most areas in Ontario that service a population of approximately 20,000 or under, that's the general model for a hospice. So I think I can speak for the whole group when I say that we would ideally be looking for a 3-4 bedroom house on 1 or 2 acres of land on the outskirts of a town with municipal water and sewer that has lots of privacy, lots of parking, lots of storage, and room to expand if necessary. So that would be the ideal type of property we'd be looking for. Now, having said that, when I look at realtor.ca or check any of the realtor listings, I'm seeing that depending on where you purchase a property like that, and dependent upon the condition of the house, you're looking at anywhere between $400,000 to $1 million. So we have a lot of saving up to do yet. So suffice it to say, a hospice isn't going to happen anytime soon, and we're probably looking at being shovel ready, I would say, what, 3 to 5 years we've talked about? Yeah. Once the property's purchased, there's going to be a considerable amount of renovations to be done to any existing building in order to comply with the standards of the Ministry of Health. We're looking at widening doorways, ramps, possibly an elevator, HVAC system, bathrooms for every bedroom, and that's just the start. So this is going to be quite a lengthy project. Fortunately, research again has shown us that there's a number of grants available to help offset the costs of retrofitting a home like that. Where we are at right now is we have a small amount in revenues, and we are really going to be ramping up our fundraising. And once we have our charitable organization status, we'll be able to provide income tax receipts for donations. We're not there yet, so we haven't actually been asking for large corporate donations or anything of that kind. Is there anything you want to add at this point, Chantal? Okay. All right. So how can you help? Well, I just talked about money, and you'll be relieved to know that I'm not here to ask you for any. Okay, that's a given. But you can help in other ways. And one of those ways is, for example, I just mentioned we have to do a lot of fundraising. If we were, let's say, to ask if we could have the use of your arena to hold a charity hockey game or something like that, if you could give us a considerable discount on the rental use of your facility, that would be amazing and a big help. I'm just using that as an example. I'm not saying we're going to do that.
Because we don't have.
We don't, but that's just as an example. So one of the other ways that you could help would be if, for example, property somewhat similar to what I've just outlined came available through tax arrears. I don't know if it's ethical to ask you to give us a heads up on something like that. It's not. Okay. And that's on record. I didn't know. All right. If for example, a grant was to become known from the federal government or provincial government to your administration, we would be very open to collaborating with them. We're not necessarily just talking about grant money for the building itself. We could tie that in to programs that we intend to do at the hospice. So we just want you all to know that that's a possibility, and we'd be very happy to work with you. Before I leave, I just want to give you a couple of examples. In Richmond Hill, there was a couple with the last name Hill who owned a 3-bedroom brick bungalow on a residential street. When they passed away, their 2 adult children settled their estate and sold the house to the town of Richmond Hill. When the town no longer needed it, the hospice committee approached the town and said, you know, that house would make a wonderful hospice. And that's what happened. In North Bay, I don't know if any of you have been to the Nipissing Serenity Hospice or not. It's a beautiful state-of-the-art facility. It's a 10-bedroom hospice. And when the hospice committee had a considerable amount of money saved up, they went to the city of North Bay and said, we found the property that we'd like to build on, and we'd like to buy it from you. It was North Bay owned, and we'd like to buy it from you. But we want to purchase it for the same price that you bought it, which was on public record. So they were able to purchase it for $1. And that reason I'm sure they have a state-of-the-art hospice is because they were able to use all of that money on the building itself as opposed. So that's just 2 examples of where the municipal council worked with a hospice committee and achieved really wonderful results. So if you have no other questions, I'll leave you with that.
Anybody have any questions? No.
I just like to say I applaud the thinking you people have been doing. You know, it's terrific. You're thinking outside the box, and I think it's going to happen eventually.
Oh, it will.
I have a quick question. Just, I'm not familiar with what's happening with Zach's Crib, but would that building be something up your alley?
No, first of all, it's a DSAP. No, it's a DSAP building, and I believe so. And they had other plans for it. And something's going on in there right now as we speak.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know it was DSAP because it was all private funding and stuff. I thought.
There's a few things that aren't suitable for a hospice. First of all, it's on a couple of different floors, and ideally a hospice would be all on one floor. There's not a lot of parking, and
it's a busy street.
Yeah. If I were towards the end of my life and could still enjoy looking out a window and looking at birds or looking at water or, you know, whatever. I would prefer to do that rather than be in a situation like it's Zach's crib. The other thing too is we'd rather, you know, we've heard of some people who have bequeathed, if that's the right word, a home, you know, and that's wonderful. But you have to take into consideration where he is. And because a hospice would have to be zoned commercial, it's not always possible to do so in sort of a residential setting. But on top of that, you have to think about the neighbors. And you've got hearses coming and going, ambulances sometimes. So, you know, if you take it all into consideration, in an urban setting, it's probably not the greatest. We don't want it to be out in the middle of nowhere because then it's problematic for people driving and weather and, you know, all the rest of it. But yeah, something just sort of on the outskirts of town would be ideal, of any town. We haven't made up our mind yet. We're looking between Temagami to the south and Earlton to the north, Elk Lake to the west, and Temiskaming Shores to the east. Could be anywhere in there. Our minds are not made up. It's whatever turns out to be the most suitable and affordable, but most suitable location.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you
Any
very
other
much.
questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Lots of luck.
5, adoption of meeting agenda, draft motion. Be it resolved that council approve the agenda of the regular meeting dated May 26, 2026 as presented. A mover and a seconder. Councillor LaFleur and Councillor Wilcox. Any corrections, clarification required on the agenda? All in favor? Carried. 6, adoption of previous council minutes, draft motion. Be it resolved that council approve the following minutes as presented. Regular meeting of council, April 28th, 2026. A mover and a seconder. Councillor Hughes and Councillor Starchuk. Any errors or omissions? All in favor? Carried. 7, staff reports, draft motion. Be it resolved that council accept the staff reports as presented. A mover and a seconder. Councillor Hughes and Councillor Wilcox. 7.1, library board meeting minutes, March 28, 2026. Any discussion, questions? Okay. 7.2, staff report 2026-05-26-01, surplus properties, 35 to 39 Pyrite Street North, 32 Pyrite Street North. Discussion, questions? Councillor Wilcox.
A bit of a history on that, because this is selling those lots is a bit of a sore point with me. A number of years ago, different councils, the property that would have been on 3539 Pyrite Street was sold, and the town bought it back because at that time the environmental restriction from the lake went through that property and it was not saleable. Since that time, I was looking at our current official plan, and they have, for some reason, adjusted that line back closer to the lake. So this may be okay now, but we do have to be, I think it's 30 meters, 97 feet from the shoreline to be a legal property. And I'm not sure the 39 would qualify for under that. It's very close to Sass Lake. There's a little indent that comes in there. And the other thing, of course, is the sewer and water don't run to those properties. They stop basically across the street from my place at a fire hydrant. That's the end of those. So they're not, I hope they're not being advertised as serviced, because
No, they're not.
There's no conditions on the sale.
Yeah.
Fire and conditions.
My other concern too is just the way the land slopes down to the lake, and would a gravity-fed sewer work in that lower area?
Okay. The sewer is approved by the health unit, I do believe, is who does sewer approvals, and they would take that into account. There are restrictions and regulations when you're near a body of water.
Yeah, I was not aware that that had been looked at by anybody for that cause, so.
And anybody that is purchasing is made aware that there is no municipal services.
It's just a vacant lot. There's never been houses or anything on it, nothing, so it's just.
Vacant wooded lots. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
A quick question. Was there ever a house on it that, in order to have an address and everything, no, never a house on that
It
property?
has always been against the Cobalt Water Act and the official plans. Hence my reluctance, because for whatever reason, and I don't know why, that boundary was adjusted towards the lake.
Anything that was adjusted would have been adjusted by the requirements by law. So, because our zoning plan wouldn't contravene the law.
True
It
enough.
wouldn't be able to.
But again, in that particular area, if you look at Schedule C on our official plan, it has all of Ruby Street, Five Right Street, and everything in between designated as a water concern area, conservation area, whatever.
Watershed protection area.
Watershed.
Yes, exactly. And again, looking at those properties, they're at the tail end of what is basically a flood zone, which I think is why that boundary was where it was. So those are my concerns about a council. You can do whatever you like with it. But I would be,
Mr. Hughes,
We could put septic system in, I assume, right?
as in,
Like their own personal septic, whether
it
it's
would have to be
pumped out or
approved through the
leaking out.
building inspector and the health unit, yes.
I think the official plan says they must be connected to municipal sewer.
Well, and again, this is up to the buyer and
Building inspector.
yeah. So I know if you buy a property in the country, you can have a condition to get information and stuff before the sale. So. Anyway, anything else? This is just the staff reports at this point. Okay, all in favor? Carried. 8, items for council consideration. 8.1, municipal property, Sharp Lake. Staff report 2026-04-2802. Draft motion, whereas at the regular meeting of council dated April 28, 2026, council received the staff report 2026-04-2802 with a recommendation to declare 5401-000-45801-000 known as Sharp Lake Park as surplus to the municipal needs. Now therefore be it resolved that council declare roll 5401-000-45801-0000 known as Sharp Lake as surplus to municipal needs. A mover and a seconder. Councillor Anderson and Councillor Lafleur. Discussion? Councillor Wilcox.
I'm opposed to this, chiefly because I would really like to be able to speak to other people in the area about developing that property. And I think once we've declared it as surplus, then I suspect it will end up getting sold. And the numbers that I have seen for that potential price have been very low. And I would hate to see this just disappear on us.
I think at the end of the day, bottom line is this municipality can't afford to do development. You've got environmental fees and then you've got development charges.
That's why we
And
would find a
unfortunately,
partner.
we don't have the coffers in the bank.
No, but we have land and we would look for somebody else to put up the money for the development.
Councillor Anderson?
But we have explored that before and spent legal money exploring options like that and where to put a development there down at South Lake and all the rest of it in former councils. And spend a lot of money and that couldn't go forward. You know, we've looked at a lot of those options in the last 10, 15 years. At least back to when we started trying to sell the gravel out of there and stuff. It's cost us a lot of headache, unfortunately.
Councillor Hughes?
Is there a way that we can move this price negotiation, maybe for the price of this, is closed today?
No, that's not what we're even discussing today, I don't
That's not
believe.
necessarily the selling price, that's.
Oh, I know, it certainly wouldn't, I wouldn't be on board for that price. But I would be on board if we.
Yeah, no, and it can't be discussed in closed, it has to be discussed in open because it's public property and public funds.
Council passed in order to balance your budget, this revenue is added.
Yep.
So you've already passed your budget, so now if you
And
take
this
that out,
revenue's
then
in
you're
our
gonna-
budget.
You're gonna be that much short.
Yeah, but we need more money for it. I just didn't want to discuss all the fine details of
No.
price right now.
Can set any price we choose to on it, you can always come down in price, you can't go up once it's posted.
Okay.
So, but right now, this is just about declaring it surplus. So I'm gonna call for the vote. All in favor?
Could we have a recorded vote, please?
You have a recorded paper? Okay. Okay, I'll go around the table rather than alphabetical. Councillor Wilcox?
The procedural bylaw says it has to be alphabetical.
Okay, well then you're gonna have to bear with me while I look at your name tags because my brain does not work that quickly anymore and I start with the one who called the recorded vote, Councillor Wilcox. That is our procedural bylaw. It starts with the person who called the vote.
Oh, I'm going to check on that. So anyway, opposed.
Councillor Anderson?
Or
Oh, excuse me.
No. Councillor Hughes?
4.
And Councillor Lafleur?
Yeah, we're talking about the 49 too, right? 49,200, that money?
No, we're talking about
Fair play.
declaring it as surplus, 8.1 on the agenda.
Oh, yeah, I apologize. Okay, I'm for, yeah.
That's just the impact assessment.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, and then Councillor Starchuk? And Mayor Ad said 4. Motion passes. 8.2, tender to purchase municipal surplus lot 32 Pyrite Street North. Staff report 2026-05-2601. Draft motion, whereas at the regular council meeting on September 19th, 2023, council declared 32 Pyrite Street North as surplus and be advertised for sale. And whereas a tender has been received. And whereas council has received staff report 2026-05-2601, now therefore be it resolved that council approve the sale of 32 Pyrite Street to Jeff R. Godfrey for the sum of $14,000 plus applicable legal fees and direct staff to proceed with the necessary documents. A mover and a seconder. Councillor Hughes and Councillor Lafleur. Discussion? All in favor? Carried. 8.3, tender to purchase municipal surplus lot 3539 Pyrite Street North. Related to staff report 2026-05-2601. Draft motion, whereas at the regular council meeting on November 21st, 2023, council declared 35 639 Pyrite Street as surplus and be advertised for sale. And whereas a tender has been received. And whereas council has received staff report 2026-05-2601, now therefore be it resolved that council approve the sale of 3539 Pyrite Street North to Bruce McLean for the sum of $17,000 plus applicable legal fees and direct staff to proceed with the necessary documents. A mover and a seconder. Councillor Anderson and Councillor Hughes. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Eight point four, motion for council meeting time change as requested by Councillor Hughes. Draft motion, be it resolved that the council of the corporation in the town of Cobalt changes its council meeting times from 6:30 PM to 5 PM. And further, that the 2026 term of council and committee meeting calendar be amended. A mover and a seconder. Councillor Hughes and Councillor Lafleur. Any discussion? Councillor Wilcox.
As much as I would be happy to comply with Councillor Hughes' request, I would suggest that we are here to serve the public, and 5 o'clock in the afternoon can be a very busy time for most of our public. So I would suggest, I'm in favor of staying with 6:30, and I would ask for a recorded vote.
Councillor Anderson.
Many of our meetings, for example, today I got back from the Tamagami Medical Board meeting, which is important to us because our doctor's office here is part of the Tamagami Medical Board. And I got back at 10 to 6. So that doesn't work. And
And it's like you still have 40 minutes.
I think she will go home and
yes,
regroup before she goes.
yeah.
Councillor Hughes.
Well, my big suggestion was that we'd save some overtime or some time off paid or whatever for Cass and for Jamie to be here for 2 hours doing nothing. Well, not doing nothing, doing something, but waiting for the meeting.
You're right here?
Yeah, they go home and then
Yeah,
they
we
come
don't
back
stay.
for the meeting.
And then like New Liskeard, for example, has theirs in like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So a lot of people work at 3.
Councillor Starchuk.
I'm curious how the staff felt about this anyway, the change. Is the staff okay with the change?
It works well.
Is it better?
At that point, I would stay in between the 4 and 5. So, or I'll be here a half hour before the meeting anyway.
Yeah.
So it works for me. I would.
Is there any way to have board meetings set at an earlier time? Councillor Anderson?
No, because I'm only one of it, and we have our board meetings the end of the day so that we've got at least one doctor there for the
Okay.
board meetings and staff. So, there's 2 staff that are working, 2 of them that are working down in Tamagami there, and that's where the meetings are.
How often are your meetings?
That's what I was going to ask.
The last Tuesday of every month.
So how many times would that overlap with us, I wonder? Once or twice a year, maybe?
4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Let's get a calendar and take a look, maybe. We have a staff report on the calendar.
The next meeting is June 23rd.
It's not the last Tuesday.
Do they probably don't have meetings in the summer, right?
Yep. We've got one scheduled for July now, too.
July what?
So we have
19th.
June 23rd, July 21st, and August 18th. So
Doesn't even catch up there.
I don't think we would, there would be any conflict at least to the end of the year.
then you have the council like that.
Yeah, they have to change it back. You got guys that work on the next.
Yeah,
council.
there's no conflict till the end of the year.
Your new
With
council will
the,
probably have a new
with the
procedure
board
by law
meetings.
anyway.
Yeah, it's like, why don't we wait and let a new council decide if they want to do something like that?
We can vote on it, I guess.
no, we can vote, and you wanted a recorded vote, Counselor Wilcox?
I do.
Okay. Counselor Wilcox?
Opposed?
Counselor Anderson?
Opposed?
Counselor Hughes?
4?
And Counselor LaFleur?
For it.
Counselor Starcheck?
Yeah, hold it.
Right. And I am going to oppose as well. So motion defeated. 9, items for council information, draft motion. Be it resolved that council accept the items for council information as presented. A mover and a seconder. Cobalt Historical Society, May 5th, 2025, annual general meeting. Any clarification? Sorry. Oh, sorry. A mover and a seconder. Counselor Anderson and Counselor LaFleur. Let me go back now. 9.1, Cobalt Historical Society, May 5th, 2025, annual general meeting. Any questions or clarifications required on that? 9.2, Cobalt Historical Society, March 2nd, 2026, regular meeting minutes. Any questions or clarification? No. 9.3, Cobalt Historical Society, 2026 annual report. Any clarification, questions? 9.4, Ontario Clean Water Agency, Water and Wastewater Operations Report Q1 2026. Any questions, clarification required? Okay. 9.5, Staff Report 2026-05-26-02, update on disposal of surplus properties. Any clarification, questions? Okay, all in favor? Carried. 10, bylaws and agreements. 10.1, bylaw number 2026-16, election signs bylaw. Draft motion. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2026-16, being a bylaw to regulate election signs within the town of Cobalt, be taken as read a first, second, and third time this 26th day of May 2026. And further, that the said bylaw be signed and sealed by the mayor and clerk. A mover and a seconder. Councillor Hughes and Councillor LaFleur. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Carried. 10.2, bylaw number 2026-18, elections policy bylaw. Draft motion. Be it resolved that the bylaw number 2026-18, being a bylaw to establish an election policy for the town of Cobalt, be taken as read a first, second, and third time this 26th day of May 2026. And further, that the said bylaw be signed and sealed by the mayor and clerk. A mover and a seconder. Councillor Anderson and Councillor LaFleur. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. 11, unfinished business. 11.1, candidate committee. Staff has received 1 application to date. And Councillor Anderson, how are we going at wrangling everything?
I put a phone call into Angie and left her a message, because the 2 minutes I got to talk to her one day, she said yes, she was organizing things. So now I'm gonna come back at it. And then of course the census got in the middle of all that. So, but the definitely going to do the pancake breakfast, and the Golden Age Club is going to have free ice cream cones again, and they've got some signboards that kids can stand behind to get pictures taken.
Okay, and can we put a request to increase our quantity for sausage and pancakes this year? We ran out last year.
They're okay.
can never know.
And that's, anybody else have any input?
So I think for advertising, we advertise at least
The mayor's breakfast?
Mayor's breakfast and ice cream cones, and we'll see where the rest falls.
And the parade?
And your parade.
Yeah,
We're gonna do the parade for
I
sure?
would hope so.
Okay.
As firemen, the firemen do the
You, touch
organization.
base with the fire department? Yes, please. We haven't heard anything from them
Mhm.
on this. Okay, 12, new business, 12.1, schedule of accounts. Be it resolved that council receives the following schedules as presented. Schedule number 2026-06 in the amount of $278,238.43. A mover and a seconder. Councillor Lafleur? Councillor Starchuk? Any clarification, questions? All in favor? Carried. Mayor's report. Just a reminder to our residents that it is against the bylaw to be feeding wildlife, whether that be pigeons. Doesn't matter. The bears are now out, so I would remind residents to secure their garbage, and if you have any food waste, to freeze it and retain it until garbage day if you don't have a place to secure your garbage bin. Otherwise, I can guarantee it's probably going to be knocked over. So I've seen quite a few posts about the bears and garbage, or three-legged bear. And despite it being a three-legged bear, it is not a pet. So I would like to remind the residents not to feed it, please, and do not approach it. It is wildlife.
I'll try to pet it. There's a hand.
So anyway, that's what I have at this point. 14, closed meeting, draft motion. Be it resolved that council convene in closed session as per section 239 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended in order to address a matter pertaining to subsection 2A, security of the property of the municipality or local board. 2B, personal matter about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. A mover and a seconder, Councillor Lafleur and Councillor Starchuk. Any discussion on that? Okay. I would like to remind the public that we will not be reconvening on video after the closed session. Okay. All in favor? Carried.